What happens when two well-loved television personalities collide live on camera and the show does not cut away? The energy in the room changes instantly. The words get sharper. The air gets heavy. Millions of viewers across America watched in a kind of stunned quiet as what began as a normal morning show conversation flipped into something almost nobody expected. Kelly Clarkson, known everywhere for her genuine warmth and natural charm, suddenly found herself in a tense back and forth with Craig Melvin that left the studio audience literally holding their breath. Before we get into specific sentences and exactly how this dramatic back and forth unfolded, make sure you tap that subscribe button and leave a comment below, because this interview moment felt like something that should not have happened on basic daytime TV. The morning began like any other studio morning. Coffee was hot, the lights were being adjusted, camera ops checked angles, and producers reviewed the rundown. Creig was filling in as guest host that day, bringing his normal, serious but cheerful news anchor energy. Kelly was there as a booked guest, ready to promote her newest work and chat about life as a talk show host, single mom, and musician. The pre-show environment backstage was light and friendly. People were doing small talk. Makeup artists brushed powder over foreheads. Kelly scrolled her phone and smiled at memes. Creig joked with an assistant while he flipped through his note cards. Nobody, truly nobody in that building, could have predicted what would occur once the countdown clock hit 0 and the red light on the main camera finally went solid. The interview opened smooth. Creig greeted Kelly with his usual confident smile, and she walked out with her usual enthusiastic energy. The studio audience clapped hard while she sat down, adjusted her mic, crossed one leg over the other, and settled into the armchair opposite Creig. They did the typical first 2 minutes. Small talk, weather comments, morning TV jokes. Kelly complimented the studio design. Creig thanked her for waking up early and being there. Everything felt normal. Everything seemed on track. The first few questions were basic, easy ones that Kelly could answer half asleep. How she balances work, what she loves about hosting. Any fun stories from recent shows? Kelly answered with her familiar blend of humor and honesty. The crowd giggled at several moments. They loved her. Creig nodded along. But then the mood shifted. It was subtle, but clear. Creig leaned forward a tiny bit. His tone became more pointed. He moved from friendly into I have a real question mode. He had done homework as journalists do, and he had noticed something she said recently, something he wanted to confront on camera. Kelly sensed the shift instantly. Her smile stayed on her face, but you could see the eyes sharpen like someone hearing a distant warning click. She braced slightly. She knew something deeper was coming. Creig asked about comments she recently made in a different interview. Comments about fame pressure and how non-stop public attention can be mentally exhausting. The question was valid, but the way he phrased it felt charged, almost like an accusation. He suggested she was being inconsistent, that she enjoys celebrity perks but also complains about the attention. Kelly answered calmly at first. Yes, fame has trade-offs. Yes, she knows attention comes with the work. But then she added something sharper. She said being a public person does not mean surrendering all boundaries. It does not mean losing the right to tell people this is too far. She said there is a difference between actual journalism and just digging into someone's personal life for clicks. Her voice stayed controlled, but there was steel behind it. Fans of Kelly know that tone, the moment when she stops doing nice, friendly mode. Creig did not step back. He argued directly that celebrities cannot want both privacy and attention. He said you cannot post personal moments on social media and then complain when people want more details. He listed examples: posts of her kids, comments about her divorce, emotional posts she has shared publicly. He asked if she really has the right to say no comment when she is the one opening the door. The audience was silent now. Jokes evaporated. People sat still, glancing at each other in confusion, trying to decide if this was bit comedy or a real confrontation. Kelly sat up straighter. Her hands stopped moving. She held the armrests firmly. She stared directly into Creig's eyes and said he was misunderstanding something huge. Sharing pieces of your personal life, she said, is not an invitation to demand the rest. Sharing a single moment does not equal surrender of every moment. It is not a contract with the world. She spoke about double standards. She said male celebrities rarely get attacked this way. That when women share openly, it gets weaponized against them. She was not yelling, but the emotion under the words was clear. Creig said he was not attacking her personally. He was just talking in general. Kelly cut in instantly, which she almost never does. She said how questions are asked reveals bias, and right now, she felt like she was being interrogated for having human emotions. She asked Creig if he had ever thought about what it's like to have every tiny detail of your life judged by strangers. Every outfit, every parenting decision, and then be told you have no right to complain. The tension rose. Creig tried to pivot, to soften, to shift to a lighter topic. Kelly said no. She would not let it slide. She said this is exactly the problem. Real difficult conversations get shut down the second they become uncomfortable. People want trauma packaged into inspirational quotes, but not messy truth. They want the cute version of pain, not the real one. Creig tried to regain control. He said she was taking it too personally. She said of course she was. It was personal. It was her actual life. She said women get labeled dramatic for any emotional reaction at all. Silent, you're cold. Emotional, you're unstable. Polite, you're fake. Honest, you're playing victim. She looked into the main close-up camera, almost talking to the audience at home. She said there are people, watching in living rooms, who know exactly what she means. Maybe not on such a public scale, but in their own families, offices, and relationships. She said she is speaking not just for herself, but for every person who has ever been told their normal human feelings are too much. Creig tried again to shift, talk about music, next projects, anything. Kelly shook her head. No, not moving on. Not pretending this did not happen. She said this is exactly why so many women stop speaking honestly, because the second they do, everyone tries to change the subject. Creig told her she was attacking him. Kelly immediately said, when did she attack him personally? She said she challenged his words, not his character. She did not insult him. She called out the framing, not his morality. And if he felt attacked, maybe that meant he was feeling defensive himself. Creig then pulled out specific examples, incidents he framed as Kelly stirring controversy on purpose. Social media moments, interviews, clips, he laid them out like evidence. Kelly listened with eyebrows raised. She then asked if he actually watched those pieces in context, or if he just used random headlines. She then gave the original context of each one, explaining what she actually said versus what clickbait summaries turned them into. She talked about a photo she posted of her daughter, a small proud moment any parent would share, but the comment section turned into people judging her parenting. She said she was not inviting that. She was sharing joy, and fame should not mean accepting harassment as normal. Creig said when you have millions of followers, you should expect that. Kelly said expecting something bad does not mean accepting it as okay. Normalized cruelty is still cruelty. They began speaking about bigger themes: privacy, ethics, media consumption, boundaries, parasocial culture. Creig argued that public attention benefits famous people and therefore creates responsibility. Kelly said fame is work, a job, not a prison sentence. She said entertainers provide art and entertainment. They do not owe strangers unlimited emotional access. You do not expect your doctor to live stream their personal problems. You do not expect your lawyer to share their children's private issues. Why should an entertainer have to? Creig said entertainers sell their personality. Kelly disagreed strongly, saying that yes, some do, but not all. And even if someone shares one part of their life, it does not mean they surrender the right to change their mind later. People evolve, comfort zones shift, boundaries move, and that should be allowed. She said male celebrities get away with much stricter privacy without criticism. Creig said he would ask these same questions to anyone. Kelly laughed, a sharp, humorless sound, and said calling a woman inconsistent for having complex feelings proves the sexism she was describing. She asked him to name one male star grilled in this exact way for simply having boundaries. He could not think of one immediately. She did not wait. She said the silence was proof. She talked about the exhaustion of constantly having to defend basic emotional needs. She said women in the industry warn each other about which interviewers are safe. They literally share lists. It is like a strategy game, but the rules are uneven, and women always start with less power. Craig spoke firmly now, saying she was making him into a villain. Kelly said she was not calling him a villain. She was pointing at a system. She said the war